AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. We'll talk to Mike Triplett and Jared Mitchell in hour number 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
I'm actually really proud of you. I don't mean that to be demeaning in any way. I am. I'm really proud of you. I guess winning 2 national championships in 3 years will cause many of you to chill out. LSU lost a midweek game, and the world didn't end. People didn't actually melt, and it was an ugly one, too. LSU in this game, if you were not watching along, trailed 4-0 at the end of the second, or the middle of the second. 10-0 in the middle of the third. They trailed 10-1 in the fourth, 13-2 in the seventh. I mean, this is bad. If you just didn't pay attention to this game at all and woke up this morning, popped up the Twitter machine or whatever looking for a final score, maybe you looked at LouisianaSports.net. Thank you. You did not see an accurate representation. This was hideous. The starters got down. Jay Johnson pulled literally everybody. I mean, all of them. Zach York DH'd. He stayed in, but literally everybody else was pulled from the game. They put in backups. And the backups actually made a pretty good run at it. And I'll tell you, LSU was 3 outs away from being run ruled in the seventh. They were down 13-2. They put up a 3 spot in the seventh. And actually made a little bit of a charge there in the 8th and the 9th. They ended up losing 13-10 to Northeastern, which, Northeastern is a good program. I think we all know that. They're from the Colonial. They won 49 games a year ago. We've talked about it. Still, it's inexcusable for LSU to have happened what happened. And that for something like that to happen, it's just a day where you went out and you were lazy and lethargic and apathetic and uninspired, and you can get beat in baseball. It's one of those things that can happen. It was an embarrassing performance by the starters, but an encouraging rally by the backups, and I think it does show the depth of this roster. Now, the hope, I think, is that you don't waste this. And it's actually something Jay Johnson, when he was asked after the game, what was your message to the team after this loss? It's kind of what he spoke to.
Wednesday, first road game. We got to be ready to go. It's a team that's 9-3. I'm sure it'll be a packed house. They love their baseball. Played in a regional there, and let's be better for what happened tonight. In a way, I think we are. It's showing some of the players that haven't played a lot that there's some depth and some options there, and we'll utilize that going forward.
I want to talk about some of that, some of the depth and the options that are there. One of them is a guy I've been mentioning now for probably about 2 weeks, and ready to see more of him. The game itself, which I'm sure many of you don't want to deep dive into this game, but I can't help but think, and listen, when you have a day like that where it was like Murphy's Law, right? Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but one of the big decisions, they DH'd Zach York and played John Pearson at first base, and Cooper Williams got a 1-2-3 first and looked awesome. and went out there in the second, and the leadoff hitter in the second inning hits a tapper towards second base. And John Pearson goes to field the baseball, went way too far to his right. Cooper Williams got a late break to the bag when, in actuality, Pearson should have covered the bag. Dardar could have easily made the play, and just like that, boom, you're out of it. Or you get the first out, nobody on. Instead, you allowed that infield single, then Cooper Williams with a throwing error, then an RBI single, then another single, then a 4-pitch walk. Just like that, Williams' day is over. Cowan's in the game. Pearson commits an error. Now you're down 2-0. He kicks a grounder. All that to say, that's 2 balls involving Pearson at first base in that second inning when things started to get away from you, and then it snowballed after that. I'm not putting the loss on John Pearson. Don't misunderstand me. I mean, you lost 13-10. I mean, you get 13 runs. I mean, it was an atrocity. You committed 4 errors. There were wild pitches. It was just LSU, 4 errors, 3 wild pitches. You hit a guy. It was terrible. But there were 2, and then, man, the top of the third, too. In a 4-0 game, in the top of the third, they go leadoff double, wild pitch, but then Cowan goes strikeout, and you're almost out of it. And he gets a ground ball, but they beat the shift with a ground ball. And just like that, 5-0, single, homer, it's 8-0. It'd be 10-0 before he got out of it. Brown committed an error as well on a double in the outfield. So it was just absolutely atrocious. But you had 2 opportunities in the third and the fourth. You're down 10-0. It was early enough in the game. In the third, the bottom of the third, they go E6 to lead off the inning, and then you go ground into the double play, single fly out, they're out of the inning. And then in the fourth, you loaded the bases with nobody out, then you go RBI, ground out, strikeout, ground out. So you had the bases loaded with nobody out, and you got 1 run out of it. And I guess it was compounded by in the fourth and the fifth, Ricken in the fourth and Zion Theophilus in the fifth had super easy innings. Ricken got you through the fourth in 6 pitches. Zion got you through the fifth in 7 pitches. So it got you back in the dugout in a hurry. You got base runners on. You just weren't able to do anything with it. So unfortunate that it went the way it did. But Jay talked about some of the depth, and that was encouraging. Eddie Yaman homered, his first career homer, which was, a missile, and he was 2 for 2. He was 2 for 3. Daniel Harden is someone who we've talked about here now for a couple of weeks. With Chris Stanfield out, I'm going to continue to say it, and I think some of you now are seeing what I knew because Daniel went to Catholic. I got to see him. I've seen him for a long time, and you could just you can see it now with your own eyes, right? He's Jake Brown. He's 6'2", he's 205, he is explosive, he hits with power to all fields, he's got great speed, he's a dynamic outfielder. Daniel Harden, I think, while Chris Stanfield is out, should get more playing time. And Jay sort of alluded to guys maybe getting that opportunity, and Harden, I think, is one that needs to be at the top of the list. He was 1 for 2. He walked. The one time they retired him, he had a missile to right field. Great play by the right fielder. But you can just see he is an explosive athlete, and that's a guy that I think can really help you. Now, if you're hit, and I understand, Jay is playing Reeves and Simpson in left because he wants them in there for their bat. Well, Reeves right now is batting .238. That's last on the team. Of everybody that's had an AB, Tanner Reeves is last on the team at .238. So it's hard to justify continuing to put Tanner Reeves in the game right now when he's hitting .238 in the pre-conference. Simpson is hitting .353. He's at 17 at-bats, 6 hits and 17 at-bats. So better. But I would like to see Harden get a shot. I'm not saying it's going to be great. I'm not saying that he's going to go be an All-American. I'm just saying if you're looking for someone while Stanfield is out, that's a guy I think that when he has been given his opportunities has earned it, has earned more playing time. So Harden's hitting .333. He's 1 for 3 on the season, but he's walked a couple times. He's been hit by a pitch twice. His on-base percentage is .714. It seems like every time he's up, 7 out of 10 times he stood in the box, he's gotten on base. So I'd like to see Harden get some run. So we'll see what they do. But I think what it comes down to is don't waste it. In 2023, you committed 5 errors and gave up 24 runs in Game 2 of the championship series. You went out the next day and you blew the doors off of Florida and won the national championship. A year ago, you got run-ruled in a midweek by Northwestern State. That weekend, you went out and you won 2 out of 3 against Tennessee. So don't waste it. Let this be a catalyst to maybe the wake-up call for this team, which has kind of been slumbering through the past week. And I get it. This is sort of a lull, right? You have all the emotion of opening weekend, and then you went and played the big weekend down in Jacksonville, and then you've got a 2-week lull where you're not going to play anybody of significance. It's just get through it to get to conference play, and LSU played like it in this last week, like they were going through the motions, and it showed. So maybe this is the wake-up call for them before they go into this weekend against Sacramento State to see if they can maybe be playing their best or better before they head to Nashville to take on Vandy to open up SEC play a week from Friday. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll let you hear more from Jay Johnson throughout the show today. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers, of LSU, official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Getting close to the NFL draft. You're always talking about the Saints anytime. Of course, official beer of the Saints is Bud Light, and the official beer of the national champion baseball Tigers. If you're at the box, at your house, at your favorite grocer, retailer, whatever it is, make sure you grab plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light. And when you're out shopping, make sure you look for it or ask for it by name, the officially licensed LSU National Championship aluminum bottles. The 16-ounce aluminum bottles with the national championship logo. The white bottle with the purple and gray tiger stripes. Can't miss them. Make sure you grab a couple of cases, right? Get one to drink and one as a keepsake. Bud Light. Drink easy with a great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Okay, it's after further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Newest location's open on Pico in Baton Rouge. You pass it right there if you're driving down I-10 between Highland and Seguin, right there at the new Pico exit. Can't miss it. Beautiful. Tell you more about it as we move throughout the show. Okay, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Every Tuesday, we talk a little Cruton with our guy Shea Dixon. We'll do that next on AFR.
AFR.
No matter where you live, I want you to check out yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Remember, at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, they can do telemed. So even if you live outside of Baton Rouge, they can ship your medicine, your testosterone, your peptides, whatever it is, anywhere in the country. And remember, they've got the lowest prices and never-ending contracts. I'm going to say that again. Lowest prices, never-ending contracts. Lowest prices matter because in many respects, what we're talking about here are commodities, things that you can get anywhere. So you want to get it where you're going to get the best price and obviously never-ending contracts. And by the way, there are some men's clinics out there that charge membership fees. If you are currently getting your hormone replacement therapy, the hormones or the peptides at a clinic that charges you a membership fee, don't do that. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
I fired up the old Twitter machine a bit ago, and I saw 5-star cornerback Joshua Dobson has this graphic. It says ticket punched. I'm like, oh, did he commit somewhere? No, he didn't. He didn't have his ticket punched to commit. He had his ticket punched for an official visit. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Good enough to join us. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing really well. Probably not as good as the LSU staff. Big deal, I would imagine, getting Dobson an official visit. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, this is a guy who Corey Raymond has been on for pretty much this entire cycle. And it was John Meredith, the kid out of Texas, and Josh Dobson about a year ago that he honed in on. And I've probably mentioned it on the show before. I don't even know if they were ranked at the time. And Rivals updated our rankings this past week. And those two guys are the only 2 5-stars in the country. And everybody kind of thinks Meredith will stay in Texas. So he's really honed in on Dobson, and number 2 corner in the country, 5-star, top 10 overall prospect, already 6'1", plus probably in that 175 range. And he's a junior in high school, still has a year to go. So this is the big one to watch. And he's going to make obviously, you're the top-ranked corner like that. You're the who's who is recruiting you. So he's going to do a ton of official visits in March and April, because all of February was a dead period. So they couldn't go to any college campuses and meet with coaches. But do a bunch of visits. He will then give LSU his final visit in April. And when we had just talked to him over the weekend, he had not scheduled any official visits yet. He just said he was going to kind of whittle down the schools and go from there. Well, before he even makes any visits, he goes ahead and locks in a summer official visit to LSU. He said he's going to commit before his senior year. And he was one of a handful of guys. Like, remember when Lane Kiffin got hired, and then you got into January even, and that kind of small group of 2027 guys came into town after he kind of got Lamar Brown and all them signed and met him in person. Dobson and his family flew in from North Carolina. They were the one of probably 2 or 3 families that came in and met Lane Kiffin in that very small window, before the portal and after the portal, and when they hit the road. And at the same time, Matt, they flew up to Charlotte and then drove to see him, Corey Raymond and Blake Baker. So this is your DJ Pickett. You're kind of going all in on the guy that would be more or less a 3-year starter for you.
Hey, Shea, it's interesting because LSU is going to have a late start to spring, right? They start March 24th. Some teams started this past weekend. So there's always recruits at practice. During spring, does the late spring calendar affect that LSU visitors at all, being that they are starting late?
It does in part. Yeah. One, I mean, I'm looking around on, as you said, you'd fired up the Twitter machine, X, earlier, until the Dobson news. I fired it up, and Georgia and all these people are in spring ball. They've got recruits all over campus, and they're practicing. And LSU starts the 24th and runs to April 24th. So that's when they'll have 15 allotted practices, and they'll have guys in every single day, whether it's out of state or in state, whether it's U-High and Catholic kids, or guys like Dobson who are just coming in to watch a spring practice. But it's kind of a funny gap we're in right now. It's an open period. It was just dead for a month, so they could have kids on campus, but they did in the past 2 days because the staff's just getting back and kind of honing in on the team and prepping for everything, because they're about to take spring break. So Friday they leave, and they won't be back till the following Sunday. So this is kind of your final chance to be around the players for a few days. And when spring break ends, you're kind of running right up a week or 2 out of spring ball. And that's when I think we'll see a wave of recruits start to come in. And then it just gets really heavy for those 15 spring practices.
Shea Dixon's with us on 3 The Bengal Tiger. At Shea Dixon is where you can get him. I think the other big thing, Shea, as we start to look at 2027, it's hard to believe you're putting 26 to bed, but you're looking ahead to 2027. Whenever you look at numbers, have we gotten any clarity as far as what they might be? There's 2 commits right now, right, with Jaden Bryan and Peyton Houston, but do we have any clarity about what this staff might be looking at for the 27 high school signees?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to, right? Just look at what he did at Ole Miss when he was very much considered a portal-heavy coach, portal king, right? I mean, that's how he was building a lot of the 10-plus win teams at Ole Miss, was not just supplementing through the portal, but going out and getting the best players. And if they were starting over high school guys, so be it. But at the same time, no, you're not going to sign 40-plus guys from the portal every year, but just look back. Look, it was a coaching change just now. A couple of their guys flipped to LSU. They ended up getting a couple of guys into their class. Let's call it even. They signed 23. The year prior, he signed 23 again. The year prior to that, I think they were in that same 20-something range. And that was a stretch when Billy Glasscock was there kind of as a right-hand man as well. So I do think that they're not signing, what was it, 14 is what they went into that signing day stretch with, maybe ended with 17 by February's, but they'll be north of 20 high school signees each cycle. And I think that's almost a given, right? When you've got double-digit guys in Louisiana alone who are, rivals 300 prospects who have pretty much every SEC offer, and that's every cycle. So that takes up about half the group right there.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, a couple more for you here. This is also interesting because whenever the staff was hired, it was that Sunday, then Wednesday, like 72 hours later was signing day. So this is the first full cycle. So we talk about numbers, they're going to go over 20, but do we know as far as priorities that they're going to place in their first full cycle at LSU?
I think obviously you're always addressing needs, and we saw it through the portal. And from everyone I talked to at Ole Miss, it was similar in recruiting. Is this staff, and certainly the offensive staff, which is what we got our first glimpse of, went after guys that they just felt fit their system. Now, look, Levitt and Longstreet and those guys are anybody would want them, but they were finding wide receivers that you and I had probably not heard of, Matt, before they popped up and committed to the Tigers. But they go out there, they do the evals, and they say, this is the kind of guy who fits this spot in our passing game or in our offense or this type of blocker at receiver. And we need 2 or 3 of those guys on roster, or 2 or 3 of these guys. And I think they'll do that in high school recruiting, right? But I'll take a step back here and say that in Lane's first year on the recruiting trail, again, you just referenced it. When he got here, he had like 72 hours to sign a class, but really keep, in large part, things together with Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, the 2 5-stars who were the number 1 and 2 D linemen in the entire country on Rivals. And they go to high school on your campus, and an hour away at Edna Carr, right now, the hottest high school team in the state. And they thought about waiting till February, and you didn't even have a D-line coach. And somehow Kiffin and a meeting with Billy Glasscock, I think it goes beyond NIL. And I believe what Lane said. It's not him. It's not NIL. It's not Frank Wilson. It's guys from Louisiana just want to play here. And when you sit down and you pitch kind of the importance of it to get it done, and let's get you in for spring ball and get you ready for a freshman year, where I think both those guys are going to play, that leaning on Louisiana is big. And you go right back to it. I think that there is no way Lane doesn't say, I want to protect the border again. And right now, look, your number one receiver in the country, but the number 1 player in Louisiana, Easton Royal, Everett Brother Martin, is committed to Sark. He's committed to Texas right now. A 5-star in Albert Simeon, who's the number 1 interior lineman. A lot of people think A&M lead for him. You're battling for an Ahmad Hudson, who is ranked as the number 1 tight end, a 5-star. Your kind of quarterback situation, we didn't have any drama there because it kind of got decided before this new staff arrived. The old staff had Peyton Houston, and you got me?
Yeah, sorry, Shea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The quarterback, I think, could have brought us drama, right, Matt? But that was kind of already decided beforehand, and it appears they're sticking with it. But I'm just looking right now at the top 300 prospects. So, like, regardless of position, there's 12 of them in Louisiana, and I'm counting 8, 9 of them, not including like an Elijah Haven, who we all think is going to go to Bama, that are uncommitted and have an offer from this staff. So more than anything else, I think Lane is going to want to say that in his first year, he put that fence up around Louisiana, and guys like Sark and other teams didn't come in and raid the state.
Shea, I wanted to ask about one more. It's interesting because, like you mentioned, before you get out of here, I was going to ask. So Easton Royal, this is in the Rivals updated rankings. Royal out of Brother Martin is 9th overall. Haven is 11. Hudson is 12. Simeon's 14. And then Zyron Forstall's 15. He's a Jesuit kid who's now at IMG. Shea, that's 5 of the top 15 from Louisiana, and that's not even counting Dobson, who we just talked about, who thinks might be an LSU lean. But you want to give some context on this class, at least where they rank right now, as far as just the top level talent in Louisiana? You seen anything quite like this?
I mean, it's got the top level talent. Remember, look, I mean, we just went through a cycle where you had the number 1 and 2 D linemen who are both 5 stars, and Lamar finishes the number 1 overall prospect in the country. So it was top heavy. It wasn't as deep. I mean, right now, the most recent Rivals update, right? Like, they've offered 2 running backs in Louisiana. One of them is Jade Miles, Catholic High, and he's been a top 20 running back nationally pretty much since he got his first offers and was ranked when he started playing at Catholic. But over in Franklin Parish in Winsboro, Trey Martin, a guy who visited the same day, kind of right when Lane Kiffin and them got hired, and they were able to visit in January that Jade Miles did, Catholic's running back. He jumped all the way up to the number 10 running back in the country on the Rivals rankings this past week. So you've got guys like that who, on the industry rankings are not even top 25 running backs. And then Rivals is saying, hey, look, we've got a closer look at all of his junior film. We got to see him in person again, and we looked at everybody else around the country. And Louisiana's got 2 guys who are top 20 running backs. One right now is ranked in the top 10, and we haven't even talked about him a ton. So it's a deep class to the point where I think that not just do you protect the home state to say you put the border up and no one got out, but you're getting a lot of good talent. A lot of good talent in this cycle.
He's Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, and, of course, part of the Rivals on the recruiting side. Shea, we always appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, tough to keep up with. A little bit of everything right now.
Good stuff, man. Thanks, Shea.
Bye, Matt.
All right, bud. It's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Parrish Construction Roofing. Was over at the office earlier today. We're counting down. Remember, you've got 17 days to get your roof inspection done. On the 20th, that's when we shut down the entries for our $25K giveaway. Someone is winning $25,000 cash from Parrish Construction and Roofing. You want to enter? It's easy. Go to parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage. It'll pop up on the homepage, the $25K giveaway splash screen. There's a banner up there at the top. If you want to click that, it's simple. Just fill out your name, your address, contact. We'll be in touch with you. We'll schedule an inspection. Let us do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. And boom, you're entered to win just like that. Someone's going to win $25,000. So the deadline to enter is the 20th. We're going to draw on AFR a week later on the 27th. So got to have the inspection done before we draw. So you're counting down the days. Make sure you go register now. Enter at parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. All right, it's after further review. I got a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Ross Dellinger was here yesterday, and the story he teased that was going to drop today with sort of an LSU Louisiana lean did, in fact, drop. It was pretty significant. It involves Governor Landry, LSU President Wade Roos, a whole lot of forward-thinking administrators around the college realm. I happen to disagree with them on this proposal, but we're going to talk about that as we continue. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Agent225.com, agent225.com. Thinking about selling your home? Agent225.com for Darren James, the most user-friendly website on real estate from the #1 realtor in Louisiana. Not my opinion. It's Darren James. Wall Street Journal's listed the top 1% of realtors in America. This is on the transaction side, right? So the number of homes closed. How many times do you get to a closing table? No one in Louisiana sells more homes than Darren James. It's a fact. Not my opinion. It's a fact. Agent225.com, agent225.com, and it's all over the 225 in Greater Baton Rouge. My goodness, how about this gorgeous property that Darren just listed in Maurepas? Absolutely stunning. Waterfront views, beautiful pool out there as well. Pool that looks on to the Falls River. Check this out at agent225.com, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I make a little room and she climbs on up. I open up a throttle and stir a little dust.
SEC has announced postseason all-conference team and awards for women's basketball. And how about it? Congrats to Flau'jae Johnson, first team All-SEC. Michaela Williams, first team All-SEC. Zakiya Johnson, freshman All-SEC. And what about Malaysia Fulwiley? The transfer coming in from South Carolina. Malaysia Fulwiley named the SEC sixth woman of the year. What a great addition she has been. If I could editorialize for a moment, both Michaela Williams and Malaysia Fulwiley are Parish Construction and Roofing NIL athletes who are thrilled to partner with those two young ladies before this season started in an NIL deal. They were awesome to work with, and I am very, very proud of them and very happy for them. They were both outstanding representatives of LSU, great young ladies, and had awesome seasons, have had awesome seasons, and hopefully not done. And Kim Mulkey, just a week ago, spoke on what Malaysia Fulwiley has meant to this year's team.
She just has skills that you can't coach. You're either born with it, and she's so quick. I think a stat people don't realize, she's like 8th league in block shots, and she's definitely the shortest one to have that many block shots. So that just tells you not only does she have speed and leaping ability, she just plays with a flair and an excitement that pumps you up. And if you're on the floor with her, it makes you play even harder because you better move because she's going to be moving. Now, she may make some bad passes and do some things that might drive you crazy in the moment, but just give her a chance and she's going to make it up.
For whatever it's worth, ESPN and their latest bracketology, of course, have LSU as a regional host in Baton Rouge in Region 1. And as the host, they've got LSU as a 2 seed, taking on the 15 seed Eastern Kentucky. On the other half, in the Baton Rouge Regional, 7 seed NC State and 10 seed Fairfield. So March Madness is upon us. The ladies will take their turn at the SEC tournament. Next week, it'll be the guys' turn, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on the bracket and see if LSU can push their way onto that one line. Not necessarily an easy thing to do here. They'll very likely have a heavy lift there at the SEC women's basketball tournament, but solidly on the 2 line right now. We'll see if there is room for them to jump up in this next week with the SEC women's basketball tournament. But congrats to Flau'jae, to Michaela Williams, Zakiya, and Malaysia Fulwiley on their honors today from the SEC. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Love telling you about them every single day, no matter what the occasion. Maybe you've got an anniversary coming up. Listen, a lot of people get married in the spring, meaning your anniversary's in the spring. Is your anniversary coming up? Guys, if you're not sure what to get her, maybe it's a milestone anniversary, go to Lee Michaels, where they specialize in the Lee Michaels experience. No matter your budget, they're going to have something that will thrill her and make you the hero. So thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage. If you're going to have corporate toward Jefferson, it's on the right just before you get to Jefferson. Mall of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Texas Longhorns.
Chip Brown reporting that the Longhorns have hired former Kentucky Wildcats head coach Mark Stoops as a special assistant to Steve Sarkisian. Stoops, of course, was there at Kentucky for 13 years in Lexington. Stoops likely going to work with Texas's defense under Will Muschamp, given his background, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Meanwhile, in Lexington, Mitch Barnhart is expected to announce his retirement as Kentucky's athletic director. He's held that post for 24 years in Lexington. He's expected to step down from that role and become a special assistant to Kentucky's president, Eli Capilouto, with about 6 months' notice here. Barnhart's also been chair of the SEC athletic directors since 2017.
The Florida Gators.
John Summerall has confirmed Florida will have a quarterback competition in 2026. Georgia Tech transfer Aaron Philo is expected to be the starter for Florida. However, Summerall, when he was on the Dooley Noted podcast with Pat Dooley, said that hadn't been determined, and Tramel Jones will likely be the biggest competition there for Philo coming in. Philo's a redshirt sophomore with 8 career appearances. He had been Haynes King's backup at Georgia Tech.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And the Bulldogs are finalizing a deal with Philip Montgomery as the new wide receivers coach. He previously worked with Jeff Levy at Baylor. Last season, Montgomery was at Virginia Tech as the offensive coordinator and then eventually became the interim head coach. You might recall whenever Brent Pry was fired midseason. Montgomery began his coaching career back in 1994 at Tarleton State, worked all across the state of Texas. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC Tuesday shows powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Haven't seen it yet, man. If you traverse I-10, the new Sunshine location is open in Baton Rouge, right there at Picu. So the new Picu exit between Highland and Segan, I'm telling you, you can't miss it. If you're driving I-10, I don't need to even tell you where it is off the Picu exit. Like, you will see it. Bunch of land is cleared. There's a big, giant, beautiful building with a huge Sunshine John Deere sign on it. You cannot miss it. Anyway, gorgeous. We're fired up for our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. And next weekend, they'll be at the Outdoor Expo at Lamar Dixon with a bunch of great discounts that you'll only be able to get if you attend the event. So make sure you look for our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, y'all. Let me knock out a break. So at the top of the hour, in about 17 minutes, we have new draft odds for Jeremiah Love, meaning the odds makers are projecting where Jeremiah Love is most likely to be selected. This is going to be very interesting for those who might be interested in Love ending up in New Orleans. We'll get to that in 17 minutes. When we come back, Ross Dellinger was here a day ago. He teased a story that was dropping today that had an LSU Louisiana angle. Well, he wasn't lying. Wade Roos was LSU's president, was at an event today, at a meeting today that is very significant for the future of collegiate athletics. Governor Jeff Landry is quoted in the story that Dellinger dropped today. I'll give you some details and a reaction to it as we continue to wrap up hour number one next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net. If you have ever thought about putting in a pool, I want you to start at the Duplessis Builders website. Now, the name of the website, the URL, not too complicated. It's duplessisbuilders.net. Pretty easy. Duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Go to the website because right there on the homepage, I want you to use this tool. It's so easy how they've designed it. When you go to duplessisbuilders.net, there's a tab. It says Pick Your Pool. Just click that. Now, you want to do a custom design of a resort-style pool with all the bells and whistles. They can do anything you want, as high-end, big as you want. If you want something a little more scaled down, they have 11 different pool designs already there. You pick your design, whichever the 11 you want, and then you can go pick your finishes, boom, 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 just right there on the website. DuplessisBuilders.net. It's so easy to get started. Do it today. Start dreaming about that new pool and then take action. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up a lane.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown.
She's the only one who really understands what gets me.
Yep.
It's happening in Louisiana sports. You'll find it at louisianasports.net. From the New Orleans Saints and LSU to SEC rivalries, recruiting buzz, and sports betting headlines. We've got all the stories that matter. Check it out at louisianasports.net. And while you're there, support the businesses, support the team. Click the Our Partners tab today and discover more from the local legends backing your favorite shows on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Paul, is he going to snap? Are we good? You think he's all right? Muse, did the sunburn fry your brain?
The sunburn's pretty much all gone.
Well, it doesn't mean there's not a residual
effect. Because it wasn't really a sunburn. It was just a little redness. It was just a little redness.
Paulie, was that a sunburn?
That was a good sunburn.
Yeah, that was a good sunburn. Muse decided to go to a baseball game and not wear a hat. Just sit in the outfield and just wear it.
Wasn't in the outfield.
You're like, Are you beyond the bag at third base?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're in the outfield if you're beyond the dirt.
You're in the outfield. Muse just was like, in Forrest Gump, when Lieutenant Dan is like sitting at the mast of the ship during the hurricane, he's like, "You call this us a storm! Like, that's Muse at the Sun. He's just like, bring it, son! I'm not wearing a hat! Unapologetically relentless! I'll stare you in the face to death! Son!
The hat wasn't...
Who needs a hat?
The hat wasn't the problem. The problem is I'm out of sunscreen. That was the problem.
You know what would have helped? You know what would have helped?
What would have helped? Some sunscreen.
Considering you didn't have sunscreen, you know what would have helped? A hat!
Yeah. You know, there's a lot more.
You said half his face burned.
Yeah,
I think Paul's laughing at you, too.
This wouldn't call it a burn.
Okay. Also, so what Muse read there, that promo, is very true. A lot of people do ask a lot of times, hey, I hear you talk about that business, whatever it is. If you go to LouisianaSports.net, there's an Our Partners page. So all of the businesses that we endorse here, if you ever want links to them or wonder who they are, it's right there at LouisianaSports.net. Just hit the Our Partners page at the top. You see it. So Ross Dellinger was here yesterday and told us that he teased that he had a story coming today that involved LSU and Louisiana, and he was true. He was right. So Dellinger reported today that in Dallas, there's a meeting held among university trustees and wealthy donors, and there were 2 university presidents at this meeting. LSU President Wade Roos and TCU Chancellor Daniel Pullen attended the meeting. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry commented on the record to Dellinger, saying this proposal is a, quote, common sense solution, end quote, to the financial instability. Now, what they're discussing and what Smash Sports is discussing, apparently, as they told Dellinger, is, and Smash Sports, by the way, they're an equity group, a private equity group, mainly of former TV executives, and they are proposing this new model that pools FBS television rights. So instead of the SEC having a TV deal and the Big Ten having a TV deal and the ACC having a TV deal and the Big 12 and so on, you take all of the FBS together and do a media rights deal for all of them collectively. The reason that this is interesting is, well, there's several things. Number one, there's disagreement on whether or not this is accurate. Like, and there have been different estimates of what pooling all the media rights would do. That's one. 2, the SEC and the Big Ten commissioners do not want this plan, because what this does is it drags the SEC and the Big Ten down and elevates everyone else. It basically levels the playing field, because instead of the SEC and Big Ten having their mega deals, which benefit their members, now everyone else is sort of feeding off of their teat. What would be a gigantic revenue boon for the SEC and the Big Ten is if the SEC and the Big Ten joined. If you had just those 2 leagues join and do their media rights. So, like, think of it realistically. What value does, I'm not going to use Louisiana schools because I don't want to get some of y'all mad at me. What value does UTEP bring to a media rights deal? 0. What value does Ohio U, Miami of Ohio, what value do any of those schools bring to a media rights deal? Like, what value does San Jose State add to LSU? 0. None. So if you're the SEC and the Big Ten, you don't want this. But you have the president of LSU at this meeting, effectively, and the governor endorsing it. And the reason is because they're focused more on the considerations of higher ed and the non-revenue sports. You and I, by and large, we care about football. Football team go win. How do you win? Make a lot of money, generate a lot of revenue, so you can pay your players, your roster, your coaches, have the best, and go win. They want that, and you have to, but they also, as academicians, have to make sure that it's what all these are. They're trying to make sure that they elevate everybody to be able to sustain the Olympic sports, the non-revenue sports, Title IX, et cetera. So it's different objectives with how to move forward through this. You know me, I am unapologetically a college sports elitist. I think everyone, like, you want new uniforms, go have a bake sale. Like, eat what you kill. Not everybody agrees with me, and that's okay, but that's where I stand on this. It'll be fascinating to see what happens as this progresses, but most notably is you have the president of an SEC institution at this meeting sort of in defiance of what the SEC wants. So how that transpires, stay tuned. Going to be interesting. Okay, SportsCenter's coming up. Jeremiah Love, Vegas odds on where he's going to be drafted. That's next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, oh yeah. They do shutters too. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Tell you every day. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding, shutters, and now shades as well. Those indoor shades at Relief Windows are gorgeous. Same principle as we talk about the windows, where they'll measure twice, install once, everything's custom made. These roll-down shades are beautiful. If you've not seen them, go to the website, reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com. Hit the Shades tab at the top. You'll see images of these beautiful roll-down shades. It could control the lighting, make your home more energy efficient. Gorgeous if you want like blackout lighting during the day or the nighttime hours. Check them out. Beautiful accent piece. Now offering custom fabric roller shades at Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com, ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.